Hey, Aaron Adams with Infinity Investing. I wanted to just take 10 minutes today and break down for you the point in my real estate career that I quit my W-2 job and made the final decision to go out on my own. It was scary. And for many of you, that's something like I was that you dream about. Being your own boss is a goal for many people, and walking away from the security of a paycheck is something that keeps people up at night. Now, in 2000, I started teaching high school in Southern California and started my real estate journey while teaching high school and working on a master's degree in business. There was a period there of madness where I was teaching from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., coaching sports for the high school from 3 to 5, driving an hour from Temecula to Pomona, taking MBA classes till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then trying to squeeze in my real estate projects on the weekend. Now, you can call it neurotic or high functioning or just stupid, but whatever the reason, I was able to really move the needle. I finished my master's degree in business. I had worked for a few years at the high school, had a lot of success, really loved coaching. I coached volleyball, I coached soccer at the high school, and had done quite a few deals on the side. You know, my first deal, the first year in 2000, I did one deal. I flipped a duplex and made $50,000. The second year, I did two deals and bought a third and made almost $200,000 while still making 40 grand at the high school. The third year, I doubled the number of projects to about 6 or 7 and really started thinking, man, is it worth my time? I mean, I know I'm going to get a pension 20 years from now if I can survive that long at the high school, but is it worth what I could have made in real estate? Now, if I talk to other teachers or the principal, they're like, no, don't be stupid. Real estate crashes. And it's something I want you to really think about is that I didn't think about well enough is you really need to be careful about who you take advice from. And every one of you knows that there's that person in your life who loves you, who wants the best for you, but who you shouldn't be getting advice from. I mean, you know, just because your brother-in-law is a good dentist doesn't mean that they can give you good legal advice. Just because your pastor inspires you with your faith and your religious beliefs doesn't mean that you want them filing your tax return. And so, you know, just because the other teachers were good friends and fellow coworkers, I shouldn't have been running my dreams by them and saying, what do you guys think? Just because we ate lunch together every day. And actually, there was a few people in my life who said, you know, don't do that. That's stupid. And these were people who weren't making any money. There was the whole hater concept where they really didn't want me to be successful and were giving me selfish advice to plant seeds of doubt in my head. And so, you know, that's why one of the things at Infinity that we do, which is so unique, is there's this whole tribe mentality. You know, we do an event in Indianapolis every month where, just like Willy Wonka, I let you come see our $40 million a year operation. We have it at our offices. You meet all my employees. We take you on a bus that I own to properties that I own. It's this kind of inner circle opportunity. And you're there with 50 other investors who are sharing this experience, who you're getting to know. Those are the people that are your tribe. Those are the people who you want to share your hopes and dreams with because they're looking for some of the same things you are. They're looking to fire their boss. They're looking for financial freedom. They're looking to change the direction of their life, change the path of their life. And when I started spending my time with those people and I announced that I had a big dream or something that I wanted to do, they were like, yeah, cool, great. Because when you're with the right group of people, everyone in that group understands that it will never get better. You have to get better. And sometimes the only way that you're going to get better or have the time to get better is by walking away from the security blanket of that job. Now, I've seen people do that prematurely, people who weren't ready to run a business. They didn't understand all of the moving parts. And so they said, I'm going to run my business because I'm good at this. And they forgot about, you know, you also have to be good at these other things to be successful. And so they got out on their own and failed. And that probably keeps you up at night. So it's really about having this self-awareness. You know, it got to the point for me where it was a no-brainer. I had made $400,000 that year from my real estate deals, and the $40,000 a year from teaching just didn't cut it even a little bit. And the decision made itself. And so the first advice that I would give you is if you're in a position to do both and cram both into your life, then do both and get to where you've made triple the income from your side gig than your full-time gig. And then at that point, it's a no-brainer going to babysit your side gig and making that your full-time gig. It's fear is always going to be a factor. And Richard Branson, who founded Virgin and just went to outer space, his mantra has always been to say yes and figure it out later. And for some of you, that is the best thing. If you're an engineer, if you love spreadsheets, then you're the kind of person that will talk yourself out of action, that will always fall victim to analysis paralysis. And so from one investor to another, from one business owner to potentially a hopeful business owner, you really need to have the self-awareness of what your weaknesses are, not what your strengths are. I'm sure you're probably dialed into what you're going to be able to do well. But what do you suck at? Because 6 months into running your own business, it's going to haunt you. So if you're not a very good people person, you'll struggle to hire a team and keep them. If you're not good with your numbers, people will steal from you. If you're cheap and small, you'll grind your partners, you'll grind your employees, and you'll find that your turnover rate's high. We all have weaknesses that are ugly and kind of nasty. And sometimes we want to have pretend weaknesses. Well, my weakness is that I try so hard. Not a real weakness. But as I've thought about that point where you walk away from your job and what that point was for me, it really was the realization that my efforts running my operation, I could build a better team and impact more people's lives than I could do on that current path of teaching. And that think about fast forward to today. I'm managing, $250 million, almost $300 million worth of property, 3,000 properties in 7 different markets. There's 400 families that are W-2s, 1099s that work for me and that work for my companies. And we have thousands of customers that we've worked with and taught and educated. And the footprint that we have, it's funny, I started 22 years ago teaching, and I'm still teaching all of the time. That's what Infinity is so great, because it allows me to really take advantage of one of my superpowers, which is teaching. And so as you think about that step, ask yourself what you're getting and what's going to be better, not just getting rid of your boss, but or getting rid of a schedule. Why is it going to be better, and why are you going to be better, and how are you going to be able to touch those around you and make it better for them? And when you can answer those questions and also answer what it is you're going to struggle with and what your challenges will be and what will hold your business back, then the decision will make itself. So if you're losing sleep over it, maybe you haven't answered those questions, and that's the next step for you. I would love to have you move forward in Infinity to join our 360 program and to attend the summit that we have out in Indianapolis. It's a fantastic event. We've been doing it for over 10 years. We've had thousands of investors that have attended that event, and we really get a chance to teach them and let them see our operation. And so hopefully I'll have the chance in the very near future to meet you at one of those events. And hopefully this few minutes of discussion has helped you kind of map out what your next steps should be so that you can make this decision. But I appreciate you sharing a few minutes with me today, and I look forward to seeing you at one of our events very soon.